My name's Adele Onyango, and welcome to another episode of Legally Clueless. No, seriously, I have no clue what I'm doing, but I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. Hey you, welcome to this episode of Legally Clueless. This is what's coming up.
They said, just come, we're gonna hold you, we're gonna have space for you, we're gonna ensure that you're going to be good. And I was cynical at first because I'm wondering, why would you choose to ensure that I'll be safe? Why would you take a chance on me? Because whatever I'm doing right now, it's related to what they had promised before. Why would you take a chance on me? We don't know each other. It's not like I've done anything special. We're not even like friends like that. But why would someone see the things? Because I've had people see, you know how people uplift you. I see this in you, and I've always wondered, why can't I see it for myself? And how do I see it and channel whatever you're seeing and embody it?
That is part 2 of Blessing's story. It's coming up in a little bit. However, welcome to this episode. If you are an OG member, you've been here since the jump, I have nothing but love for you. And if you're a newbie, welcome. Better late than never. Welcome to Legally Clueless Africa. We have incredible shows here like this one that goes out every single Monday, has different Africans sharing stories from their lived experiences. On Wednesdays, we have the Midweek Teas, where we dive into topics that are going to help you become the woman that you want to be. Unpacking things that are going to help you on your healing journey. I'm very excited about this week's Midweek Teas because the woman who helped me become the woman I am is going to be on the show. And that's my therapist, Faith. Also on Wednesdays, we have our newsletter go out. You can sign up for the newsletter on our website. The link is in the show notes. Thursdays, we have For Mannerless Women. Brand new season is out. Season 4. Head over to our YouTube channel because episode 1 is for you who is navigating a toxic workplace and wants to learn how to stop shrinking yourself. And maybe even you want to leave the job and start something new, but you're worried about that. Watch the latest episode on For Mannerless Women. Trust me. Just trust me. You may need to watch that one. Our YouTube is linked in the show notes. All right. Before we jump into part 2 of Blessing's story, which, by the way, is so powerful. It's just a journey of trying to listen to her, trying to understand herself, trying to heal, trying to figure out what's underneath, trying to build stabilities, trying to figure out what and where is home. And those themes are exactly why we are having our upcoming wellness talk. It's on the 11th of April, and it's called Becoming the Woman You Want to Be. I'm very excited about this one because it's pretty personal. It's pretty personal for me because I met my current therapist, Faith, in a year where everything felt like it was breaking and shedding and tearing and crying and it was a year of so much happening. Like my marriage was ending, which comes with a lot of noise. Because of that, on the periphery, a lot of relationships around me were changing. A lot of relationships and friendships were dying. I was trying to figure out who I am, trying to rebuild what community looks like for me, trying to discover what are the things I've experienced, especially when it came to childhood trauma that I had not unpacked. And oh my God, Faith, my therapist, and I did a lot of work. There was so much from childhood that I had excused, I had buried, I had decided was normal, but I was still having an emotional reaction to those events. And so a lot of the work we did in helping me become the woman that I am today is to unpack, start processing and healing my childhood trauma. That's why this first wellness talk is so dear to my heart, because without that 1 year of therapy with Faith, I would not be who I am today. I would not be able to hold your hand through your healing. And that's why I love having, I'm even getting emotional, my goodness. And that's why I love having her on our wellness talks. Because if she can do for you what she did for me, oh my God, you are about to be liberated and to meet the woman you've always dreamed of being. Okay, before I start crying, because I'm just remembering where I was, and it was not pretty. It was not pretty. The wellness talk is on the 11th of April, which is a Saturday at 10 a.m. It is virtual. And as I said, it's going to be led by I share her with you. So she's our therapist. She's an accredited psychologist, Faith Guchu. And some of the topics she's going to be diving into with you and I is how childhood patterns show up in our adult relationships, how we can start healing emotional wounds that are affecting our career, our self-worth, our dating life, our friendships. She's also going to talk about how we can learn to give ourselves what our upbringing didn't give us. That one is almost making me like choke up because I try and do this for myself every day. In small ways, I try and show up for myself the way I wished I'd have been shown up for in my childhood. Whew, Aish. Well, why am I so emotional? She's also going to be helping us rewrite limiting beliefs. And let me tell you, limiting beliefs, like, oh, I can't do this, oh, I can't do that, those things are holding you back from growing your business, from growing your career, from starting to take the baby steps towards creating financial wealth. You know, like all of these things that are so emotional are limiting you on a big and major level, and we're trying to undo that. She's also going to help us identify and break generational patterns. If you're doing healing work, I'm very sure that you're noticing a lot of the work involves you breaking things that in your family across generations have been normalized, and you're trying to break them, right? But the first step is even to identify, because many of us don't even identify that something's wrong with the way we've been doing things since our great-grandmothers, grandmothers, mother, you know what I mean? And so we're going to learn with Faith how to identify generational patterns that are harming us, and then how do we break them? Because this is the truth, guys. A lot of what we struggle with as adults didn't start in adulthood, didn't start with us, right? That's a fact. But I think you and I can be the ones who choose to understand, who choose to heal, and then now choose to move different. Kind of like, I keep going back to Blessing's story because it's kind of like that, right? Doing the work, trying to chart a new path and figure out who you are so that you can start working towards becoming the woman you want to be. I hope to see you there on the 11th of April, 10 a.m. It's virtual, so wherever you are in the world, you can join us. So it's 10 a.m. East African time. Tickets are 1,000 bob. Grab your tickets now via the link in the show notes. And while you're doing that, let's jump into part 2 of Blessing's story. Remember in part 1, she shared what it was like growing up, constantly moving from Nairobi to Nakuru to like different relatives' homes, etc. And just about the instability that brought about to her identity, her struggle with decision making, and just like a deep longing she had for a sense of home. And that search then led her to leave Kenya, work in the Gulf, hoping that like a new environment would give her a fresh start. And that's maybe what she was craving. But as we're about to hear, changing location didn't quiet what she was carrying inside. Here's part 2. 100 African stories on Legally Clueless. Stories from Africa.
So for the first time I went, I stayed there for a period of 7 months. I have a thing with 7 because even in this time I stayed, the second time I also stayed for 7 months, going on 8 months. And first of all, that sort of reveals a pattern. I think I was sensing a pattern because I was wondering, maybe something is calling me back to the country. Maybe something is calling me back to Kenya, and I'm trying so hard to get rid of it, but it's still pulling me back. So I had, when I was terminating the second contract, I had a very hard time. I was first of all scared because I could see that this is a pattern is happening, because why the hell did you start the process if you knew that you're going to give it up the second time? It's always a 2-year contract. So realizing that you can, the second time when I was terminating, the first time I didn't have a lot of issues terminating the contract because it wasn't on me. The first time the employers were trying to relocate, so that was not on me for the first time, and I came back to the country abruptly. And I hated it. That's why it was murder the first time. So the second time going back, now I'm going to a different country, and I'm going now with a determination of like never coming back to Kenya, because I'm trying to find myself, and I feel like in Kenya I couldn't, because a lot of people and a lot of things were informing my personality. I felt like I wanted someone to dictate. I wanted like firm voices, firm authoritative voices to tell me and direct what and inform my decisions. But now moving for the second time, I didn't want, I wanted to know that I can trust myself. I can trust myself to make a decision and stand by it and see the results of it, because I have never done it before. I've never done something with a lot of conviction, something with a lot of great conviction that it's going to work out, because I think because of the moving and lack of stability and foundation and authority, I lacked a lot of self-trust. So going there, I was determined that I'm birthing a new person who is going to trust herself, and this bad experience, I'm going to farm it and take out the good experiences out of it, if there will be any. And even if they're bad, I'll know that I've done this one thing by myself, and I've created trust that I can do at least one thing. I'll have something that I've done for myself, by myself, at least one thing. So the second time, that was the idea. And then when it came to terminating the contract, because my mental was all over the place because of new tradition. Because the UAE, even if the Gulf countries, they're all Arabic speaking, and both of them have different experiences and traditions and cultures and everything like that. And one of them is very strict. For Saudi Arabia, it's a very, very strict country. There's little to no freedom when it comes to what you can do and how you can do them. So yeah, that was also a new experience. So that messed me up. The new tradition, the new language, because you have to have at least little knowledge of Arabic. And now you can imagine having just knowing Kiswahili, English, and Kikuyu, whatever mother tongue, the different languages that we speak here in Kenya, and you have to communicate with someone who is acting as if you should have known the Arabic language, when you knew that it wasn't an essential thing, but they need you to know that language immediately. So there's no that grace period of, I don't understand this language, can you explain? No, you have to get into the program immediately. So that was the first thing. The language messed me up. Second of all, it's the violation of contract, but not actual violation. Like, they can bypass the terms of the contract. So even if you report, there's no way to give evidence that the contract has been violated. Say, maybe the working hours, you've been told maybe they're 9 hours, you're working for 9 hours for 6 days a week. When it gets to your rest day, that day, no one is around the house, everything is everywhere. You're not able to tell them that today is not my working day. And if you don't work on that day, it's going to be a big problem. Some people, this was not my experience, but some people get punished by being locked out of the you're being locked in a room, or you're being denied food. Most of the time it's usually food. So you see, when you don't work, you're not given food. And so I developed a weird relationship with food, and I was diagnosed recently. Just a minute. I have developed a weird relationship with food. I only eat when I'm about to faint, and not in the funny way. It's because I know I can feel that I'm getting hungry, but because first of all, they comment on your body. If you get big, they'll just tell you derogatory things to just make you feel bad for having weight. They don't like people who are like big. So if you start getting bigger, you start getting maybe a little bit bigger. They first of all, they reduce your food, and they also like call you names and everything like that. So you have to, because I think I have a people pleasing nature, and I also don't want you to feel a way about me or tell me something that I'm doing is annoying you. So that was the first thing. It was about food. And my mind immediately clicked that you can't eat because you can't get bigger, and you can't eat because you've not worked. You have to earn. Sort of like eating is a reward. When you've done good, when you've done all your tasks, when you've performed properly, when you're exhausted, that's when you deserve to eat. And don't eat too much because you'll grow bigger. And when you're eating, you're not thinking. You're not thinking. So get to work. So that was the first thing. I developed issues with food up until now. I think right now I'm getting back into it. And the next thing that I had issues with in terms of like my mental health was, you can't express yourself emotionally, because if you show emotions, they've gotten to you. When it comes to expressing, even if you feel uncomfortable in a way, express it in an aggressive way. You have to be very defensive, you have to be very combative. And I think by nature I'm not very combative, and so I struggled with that, and with bottling up all those emotions. Something maybe has gone wrong and I can't express it in a way without crying, because I get this bitter ball on my throat when something has gone wrong, and I want you to correct it, or you've done something wrong to me. I can't express it without having balancing tears. And the first rule you're told is you can't show huwezi onyesha Mwarabu tears. So I avoid expressing those emotions. And by avoiding expressing something that has made me uncomfortable, it just made me so angry. I was so angry all the time. And I hated that I was becoming such an angry person. Because I don't want to be an angry person. But I was so angry all the time. And I was being like a bad person. When I say a bad person, I mean I was very, very rude to people who are not related to me, maybe, or even my parents, or like someone, just something really small could upset me, could just, and I was so explosive, and I hated being explosive. But that was as a result of I had too many emotions and I didn't know who to tell. And also the loneliness that comes to you over there. There's insane loneliness because the working hours are too long, and the times when other people are afraid, let's say you want to call home, it's wee hours of the night or very early in the morning, like 4 a.m. That's when you can now unwind, you can talk to people, because there are also restrictions on using your phone. There are just hours you can't use your phone. So the hours you're given, maybe let's say Wi-Fi, or you buy for yourself, the people back home, anyone that you can talk to, maybe they're asleep or they're busy at work. So the timings are very off, and that the loneliness just gets to you to levels. I don't want to be spoken to 24/7. I'm not asking for interaction 24/7, but having to sit with yourself and by yourself completely, and you know that you don't have someone you can talk to all the time and express all of these things. And also when you're talking to someone, you don't also want to be the one who's venting all the time, but most of the time that is all you can do. When you want to talk to someone and you have nothing else to say apart from venting, you're quiet and they're quiet. So you have nothing to talk about because you don't want to. You vented last week, you also venting this week. So what do we do about it? So you end up cutting a lot of communication. You end up being just lonely. You don't talk to people because when you talk, you're just complaining all the time. And you can't help yourself because that is what is actually going on. And you also don't want to come back because when you come back, you'll have failed. The one thing that you had trusted yourself to do, you had promised yourself to do, it's failing. And and time is moving. You haven't created anything solid. You're still struggling with the same issues you've been struggling with. The angst, the desperation is still there. And it feels as if now you can't be assisted. Now you feel lost. Yeah. And then it came to a point I couldn't take it anymore, and I knew that I was going to either harm the people that have hosted me or harm myself. And they kicked me out. They kicked me out because it got to a point, we had an argument, it was a silly argument, it could have gone by. But that day, I think I had had enough. Also, I don't even remember what had happened. And I just was shaking and yelling. And I just told them to take me back to the office because there are agencies the agencies over there, the ones where you go to first so that you can be connected to your employer. So I just told them to take me back to the office. And because of how I had reacted, I was so angry. I could have harmed someone, and I didn't want to get to that point of maybe either harming myself or harming them. I asked them to take me back to the office, and they didn't take it lightly. They just kicked me out, and I was out in the scorching sun. Let me tell you, the climate, the sun in that country, I don't think it's just sun. There's something going on in that country because the sun is just here and it's so hot and it descends upon you and the heat, and it's insane. So I was out for I think 5 hours in that sun, and my skin color was now blue, I think. But eventually I went to the office, and that is when I explained to them that I want to terminate the contract because I don't think I'm okay. But I can't say that it's an emotional thing or a mental thing because that is not a good reason. You have to give a very solid reason. And I remember that I have a progressing keratoconus condition, and I told them that it's my eyes, I can't see properly. And upon doing the tests, they ran tests, and they saw that the keratoconus is actually way progressed to the point that I need LASIK surgery. It's called cross-linking. And I think because of that, it made my termination easier. But it wasn't easy because I stayed in the office, them just trying to tell me, oh, if you can do the surgery here, we will figure out a way, and then we cut your salary so that you do the surgery here and then you get back to work. But I said I have to go back home because I need also the moral support from family. But it's very, very tricky to terminate your contract because you're told you have to pay them the remaining months. If you have like 13 months, you have to know how you can repay them so that they can replace another domestic worker. But for me, because it was a medical condition, I was frustrated, but not for long. It wasn't very vicious. And then now I repatriated. I came back to the country, but during that time when I was now going back and forth with them, I need to go back to my country. I'm telling them family that I need to go back to my country, but when I'm going back to the accommodation, because there's an accommodation they provide for, I'm just crying myself to sleep because I'm wondering, where are you going back to Kenya? What are you going back to? Because you're left completely with nowhere. You can't go back home because right now you're past that age of going back. No one is past the age of going back home, but also because it's not home for me. It has never felt like home. Who can I go back to? Is it my mom's place? Is it my grandma's place? I could go to any of those places, but that is not my place. That is not what I was hoping for when I was Mercy killing the past me. I was looking for a home. I was looking for a place where I can say, I have grown myself into this place. Now, whatever I've always been looking for, the angst and the desperation is done. The feeling of floating in the air is done. Now I have myself and I can stand it. I still don't have that, it's now, I don't have it. And I'm telling these people that I need to go back to the country. And yeah, I had almost vowed that I'm never coming back to Kenya. I was just going to find my place somewhere. I thought that myself was somewhere and I need to go look for her, but I didn't know where exactly that was. And because I had tried before, she wasn't in Kenya. I knew that I was never coming back to this country. But now I have to go back to that place because there's nowhere else that I know. I think familiarity. And I'm telling these people I need to go. So I'm shit scared when I'm going to my room, to my place, to my bed place. But when it comes in the morning, I'm like, I have to go. And you have to remember that I've not been paid during that time that I'm telling them I have to go. And so I'm also anxious with the fact that I don't have funds of coming back. And also the money that I have been earning all of those, 7 months that I've been there, I have been sending them back home. So I actually don't, I'm expecting this 1 month paycheck to pay the flight back to my country. Because if you decide to terminate the contract, you pay for your flight. But if you complete the contract, they pay for you the flight. So the only money that I know I have, it's just that paycheck. And I don't know whether they'll pay me now that I'm frustrating them also by saying that I need to terminate the contract. So eventually they paid me for that 1 month. And then that money I used it to come back to the country with no backup, with no nothing, with no nothing. The only backup that I had, or sort of security, is someone who had I had applied for. I don't want to speak on it so much because it's a current thing, but I have people that have held my back. And before that, I was very, what do you call it when you're suspicious of something? Cynical. I was cynical about the people who picked me at random times. Because I usually, even in all of these stories, in all of these experiences, I always have people that pick me. That is, people that I'm not related to in any sort of way. Just a random person will talk and they'll just have my back and they'll pick me even the times that I feel like I don't deserve it. So this time round, I was just so stranded. I didn't know what I'm coming back to in this country. And then I had let's say, people 2, 3 people that they said, just come, we're gonna hold you, we're gonna have space for you, we're gonna ensure that you're going to be good. And I was cynical at first because I'm wondering, why would you choose to ensure that I'll be safe? Why would you take a chance on me? Because whatever I'm doing right now, it's related to what they had promised before, and that is them taking a chance on me. And I'm wondering, why would you take a chance on me? We don't know each other. It's not like I've done anything special. We're not even like friends like that. But why would someone see the things? Because I've had people see, how people uplift you. I see this in you, and I've always wondered, why can't I see it for myself? And how do I see it and channel whatever you're seeing and embody it? Now live it and form something solid for myself, form the self-trust, find the home in all of this. Whatever I'm seeking, I find it, because I don't even know why in the first place I'm looking for it. What is it about me that feels like I need to move, I need to go, I need to find it somewhere? Why am I finding it? And why is it that you can see that it's there and I can't? And coming back, I think that was the whole thing. That was the whole question, and the whole, even up to now, I don't think I've found the answers still to what I'm looking for. I've not found my home. I'm still finding it, because I think the answers and everything that I'm looking for, it's home. I think home is what I've always been looking for and trying to look for and trying to reach for, finding something that I know I can go back to, even if whatever I go through outside, because I don't care everything that happens outside, as long as I have something to come back to. And lacking that throughout because I feel like I've lacked that throughout my entire life. I never have home. And for me, home is a place you can retire to either rejuvenate, a place you can go back to and feel okay and feel like you're a human being, despite everything that you've seen outside. And the lack of that just has made me very shifty. Let me call it shifty. But this time, I think coming back this time, I think I'll have to see it now. I'll have to see it in this country. I don't want to move anymore. I don't want to, because I don't think it's out there. And out there, in as much as I've moved and gone to seek it, I still feel the same way I was feeling, or I thought Kenya was for me. So I don't think the country is the problem. I think it's somewhere inside me, and I need to sit with it, I don't know, I think I need to sit with myself and feel it, even though I don't know what that looks like right now. But having people that have taken a chance on me gives me, I think, a slight sense of security, because that is what I've always been seeking: security and stability, and sort of like knowing it will go bad, but you have some place, you have home. I came back in December last year. I came back in December 2025. So it's just been short of a month. It's so scary being back, because I'm just like, I can't feel now. I can't feel the same feelings. I can't feel the same feelings of being lost, because, as I said, time is moving. I need to have gotten my shit together. And also, I think it's time now. It's time to be on my side, and it's time to, whatever I think is outside of me, I think I don't need it. I think now I have everything I think I've always had everything that I need to find that home or the authority that I'm looking for. I have it inside of me and I just need to trust it. I think now I'm finding it. I'm not trying to find anything now, actually. I'm not trying to find it. I'm just trying to sit with myself and notice whatever it is that I'm looking for, notice why I'm looking for it. And if that means not having, first of all, I think right now I'm very isolated. I've isolated myself from family and from familiar people because I'm trying to find it now. Not find, I don't know whether it's the thing is finding. I'm just trying to notice myself and notice why I'm looking for it, trying to understand why I feel like I need to find something. Because the searching is exhausting. Trying to find something is exhausting. I'm now trying to notice why is it that I'm looking for this thing. But also, I have this pressure for like, you can't always be trying to figure it out all your life because you need to build something solid. And I think this time round, I just want to see what that I'm just scared of making commitments because I don't know whether they'll come to be. I don't know how it will go. I just pray that I feel secure within myself this time around. And I hope that I find home within myself first. And that's why I've isolated myself from familiar places and people so that the self trust that I had, that I was trying to find before, I can find it in this country. And then from there, maybe I can pick it up. If it's moving to another country, relocating, I'm not relocating to build. I've already built it within myself and I'm just relocating because I can or I want to, and not for the purpose of building a home or trying to build from scratch. I have already the structure within me and it's just a matter of like adding on top decorations or something. I think I wanted to add on, if I could add on something, I think it's the idea of friendship and the idea of uh, unfamiliar people, unfamiliar bonds. Like you're not related by blood or anything, it's just interactions, human interactions, how beautiful they are or how magical they can be, because every single step of the way, I've always had people that have held me, and it's not family, and it's not. And there's this thing about being very careful, or it's just friends who became family, and how it's a joke, it's a running joke of you can't put your life on, you can't, like, that is not a thing. Friends who became family, they will eventually go back to their family. But I think that concept is beautiful because these people do become your family in a way, even if you're not going to be as tight as how a normal family is. I've always been held by friends at that particular point, at any particular point, and the the friendships that have faded over time, it's not because of anything on their end. Mostly, if I can say that, they have faded because I the I just don't know how to commit. Like the moving and the trying to find something just makes me feel as if I can't form a solid relationship with someone or friendship, because I know I'll not be here the next few minutes, I'll not be here the next few weeks, I'll not be here the next few months. So I cannot have this bond last on forever because I don't know where I'll end up. But I think this time round, I'll try building those relationships and foster them, because longevity, I want the longevity of stuff because I'm building them. I want them to last, even if it's not forever, for for a substantial period of time. And I think the friendships that have held me or are holding me right now, I just want to hold them for a very long time, because now I want it to be I want it to last and not be just because they've held me over time and they're still holding me up until now. And it's a beautiful concept to have. And it's female friendships, let me say that, because I don't know this propaganda for female friendships, and I don't know where that came from. Female friendships have held me, still hold me. Women of all through have held me, and I think it's a beautiful concept to have friends and to nurture those friendships and be very intentional in them. And not because of what they can offer, but just because of the fact that you see life through them, and you know that this person, they're building a life for themselves. So I have to also be solid because they're solid. Like it gives you something can be solid. It gives you like that affirmation that if their life can be solid, yours can also be solid. So I think having that idea is also helping me right now know that I can form solid. I can have solidity, I can have stability, I can have security, because I have this person who is doing well by themselves on their own, how they are moving through life. They have that stability because this person is a stable person and a solid person and a real person. I can decide to be that too because of them. Yeah.
Catch more African stories in the next episode of Legally Clueless. Dang, what a powerful story. My goodness, what a powerful story. One thing that really lands for me is that you can change environments, like you can start over, you can run, but if you don't feel safe within yourself, that feeling follows you, whether you change countries, change neighborhoods, change cities, whatever it is, change the environment. But if you're not working on the insides, those demons are going to be right there with you in that new environment. And like from Blessing's story, she went to a completely new country, right? Pushed herself through incredibly difficult conditions. She tried to rebuild from scratch, but like the same questions, the same longing for stability just kept showing up. And I think I can relate to that in my own way, and maybe you can, right? That belief that maybe if I move, maybe if I leave, maybe if I start again, things will like finally make sense. But you've got to do the inner work. You've got to do the inner work. Where even if you move, you will still have to do that inner work. And I think also what Blessing, it sounds like she's beginning to realize, and what feels really powerful is that like home is not something you find outside there. It's something you begin to build within yourself. And yeah, that work it's not as easy. It's uncomfortable sometimes. It's slow. And I'm sharing this because I've done the work. It's involves you, and this is the most uncomfortable part. It involves you having to sit with yourself, in ways that you may have been avoiding. But trust me, the light that comes out of you doing that work is incredible. It's incredible. And I hope, speaking of doing the work, I hope like if you're trying to figure out where's a nice place to start, come for our wellness talk on the 11th of April. My therapist, Faith Guchu, is going to be leading the conversation, and it's titled Becoming the Woman You Want to Be. It's time for us to like start understanding, start healing, start shedding all of the things that we experienced in our childhood that we are carrying into our adulthood as African women. And those things are just limiting us, right? So a link to all the details on the wellness talk are in the show notes, but very thankful to Blessing for sharing her story thus. Very thankful to you for listening to the show to the very end. And as always, I know that you have every single thing it takes to heal. And at this point, like the bird that constantly knocks on my window has just decided to be like, okay, now I'm knocking. It knocks, like it hears me in my studio, it will knock on the window. It hears me in my office, it'll knock on the window. In my bathroom, same thing. In my bedroom, same. Like, I guess it's trying to tell me that I need to let you go and get on with your day and end this episode. That's it for this episode of Legally Clueless. You can share this podcast with your friends. You can keep it for yourself. I'm not judging. Just make sure you're here next week for the next episode.